Attention gamers, when you get a kill in League of Legends a few things happen. You earn experience from the homicide, you get paid like a hitman, and you get some alone time to do things like shove your hooded midget employees under a laser pointing statue so that your opponent isn't around to benefit from their pathetic little deaths. At a high level this makes sense as you then get rewarded for outplaying your enemy and then you yield a slight advantage over them in future fights. However, if this concept isn't balanced to perfection, for example you get too much XP on kills or the items you can buy with your gold are more overtuned than a deaf man's piano, you run into situations where someone is 5 levels above you and able to do this. This is painfully known as the snowball effect and in my opinion has made League of Legends almost unplayable at times as most games turn into 1 or 2 people running around treating everyone on your team like target dummies as your game turns into a waiting room for the funeral of your LP where there is nothing you can do to stop it. Riot knows this, but the latest Jinx changes make me think they could give 2 shits. They've added a stacking effect to her passive which has content creators clickbaiting the absolute nutsack out of this to show what happens in your everyday games where you get over 100 kills, but even in normal games it just adds to the problem where the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker. So today I figured I would show a game as an example where even a total dogshit player with Jinx can get a few kills and then Turbo Smurf carry the game with her eyes closed after these brainless buffs. We interrupt this program to save gamers currently watching with the munchies. You see, I've recently started a World of Warcraft video series on my channel, and while the results are amazing and my audience is somehow loving it, I'm learning that South Park was right in that this is an addiction, which means I've been neglecting proper nutrition, breaking out, and feeling like this.
Oh god, I'm gonna have diarrhea again.
But that's when HelloFresh saved the day, and in just 2 weeks of eating their meals I can say that I play WoW 14 hours a day while also looking almost exactly like this. HelloFresh is the best way to eat clean whole food at a cheaper price than any alternative. The only way it would be any more convenient is if there was a conveyor belt shoving the food down your pie hole. You just go to their website, select the type of grub you want to enter your intestinal hub, hit the meal count per week, and bam, chefs send you fresh ingredients with the quickest prep time recipes so that you never have to interrupt your gaming while staying in the best shape of your life. And if you use code POGRAVFREE you will receive 1 free breakfast item per box for as long as your subscription is active, which feels like an illegal life hack, so take advantage of it now and let's get back to the vid. Alright, so I was being supported by an auto-filled High Noon Obama's wife, and if you are expecting Gosu gameplay from either of us then politely piss off, as the purpose of this video is to show how any boosted Betty can suck a butt and still hard carry a game. As you can see, this one starts with some jacked accountant coming down to audit the fact that 2 wards are living rent free in my bag, so everyone wave goodbye to my summoner spells before we get going. But it's worth noting, while this champ may appear like an albino chick in desperate need of a carbohydrate, I'd like to reveal that when I play her there is also a very swollen set of blue balls present. As you can see, firing a thin beam at the ghost of Ophelios past isn't exactly the way to commit homicide, but I had a plan, which was to hurry up and hit my 6th birthday and then launch a Rudolph-themed death rocket at him. And the instant replay shows just how close I was to aiming that shit correctly. This leaves just the blood bride alone and looking to do something stupid as I'm petting my minigun saying it's my favorite while my rocket is in my pocket saying, bro, do you even want kills? And with that I think I've laid the stage for how little skill you will need on this champ in order to do what I'm about to show you. But my stupid cowboy hat wearing Senna support wasn't immune to the flame, as you can see Billy Joe Armstrong charging us as if a 1v2 was on his bucket list, while I failed to account for the fact that Senna would be mukbanging an XL fucking popcorn on the side while I lost a right click off when a single action from her side would have completely changed the outcome there, but it will just help me make my point. I was still hoarding wards like they were a pump and dump crypto coin that Elon Musk tweeted about in 2019, which indirectly made my support wish she was still cozy in the safety of Thresh's fetish lantern. At this point you are probably thinking this is painful to watch an unfed ADC selfishly ignore the dragon objective in lieu of slurping solo XP like it's frozen sugar water out of a freeze pop bag, only to get caught like a man whose wife stuck Gorilla Glue in his fleshlight. But not to fear, my run to mommy strat is here, which ends in me firing a totally necessary point blank nuke at the blood bride for the kill. This kill, paired with the fact that Skinny Jeans over here is always in a worse position than a raw cucumber at an all-female prison, results in him getting tied up and receiving a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Dickin. Then I'm thinking let's take tower, but Senna's like nah, let's actually take tower aggro and then chase all the way to bumfuck Egypt instead of your dumb idea to get the free objective, so I let her go ahead and then I eventually meet up with her just in time to witness Morg declare that her name now describes her location as well. This of course leaves my support one bard's fart from death, but I want to use the cocaine benefits I just snorted off of dead Morg's corpse to get me a double, but once again me relying on her using her ult instead of Dixie titted obviously typing how close to dying she was ends up resulting in another even trade that could have been avoided. But I have 4 kills, which due to the Let's Spike Jinx skin sales after season 2 of Arcane Property has me in a state where I'm strong enough to hard carry the game, so I invite my team's toasted bathtub bear down south to be the cuckold watching Morg tie me up and then I fuck her, which allows me to enjoy the amenities of quite the sugar rush to secure the double. That said, just to lay all the hard stuck cards on the table and really give you all the evidence to make my point, please see Exhibit F entitled "This is Painful to Watch," as my pocket rocket failed to make an appearance on numerous occasions, resulting in Mr. Enron Mundo getting away with tax evasion, my team all wanting to say fuck this, and their team bonding together in weird places like a bunch of high schoolers that just got their licenses. But the second I saw these mouth breathers vandalizing a statue, I loaded up a baked potato, shoved it right up Goth Cinderella's shithole and then right-clicked so hard on her character for a fat outplay. Then, since there's no better time to fight over an objective than 20 seconds after it's uncontestedly been taken by the enemy, I joined the titty twisting contest in river just in time to see my support get aerial banged by a windshitter, but she never forgets to heal herself, so she survives and I get the thick boy shutty. We demolish this statue like a woke mob who found out it's of a man whose great-grandpap dealt weed to Christopher Columbus, and then I use the zoomies to inform this walking arsenal of Halo 2 weapons that his character is not the face of League of Legends. Turns out their tier 2 turret also supplied Columbus of his hookers, so it needs to be taken down, all while Morg is acting like she actually built correctly and bought a Zanya, so whatever her plan was here didn't quite seem to work. Now when it comes to playing Jinx, the best time to arrive to parties is fashionably late so that the enemy assassin is already pornstar level deep in between 4 dicks, so you can come in under the radar, nab that passive and use it to run right into a horrible position for the rest of the fight. Here we end up backing off because I'm like a chicken with his head caught off at a gay bar, but eventually when Zeus's pet bear comes in to join us, I'm able to regroup my dexterity long enough to push my alt key and then display once again my absolute ineptitude on this champion, obviously on purpose just to make a point. Anyways, my whole team had so much FOMO after the last failed attempt to be in attendance during an objective that we are all early as fuck to the next dragon spawn like a bunch of kids at a church parking lot right after Pokemon Go launched in 2016, and after my previous failures I've decided that the pocket rocket was going to be my favorite gun, as I told him not to tell my other guns. As it turns out, this is the only gun you need with the current levels of attack speed and her passive in the game. This makes Dusty Charizard a pretty uncontested hunt, as Mundo embarrassingly marked the event on his calendar for 10 seconds too late, so we all make fun of the jacked accountant for not paying attention to detail, and then someone playing one of Riot's newest abominations comes in expecting to 1v5 like she's probably used to on that champ. Then the typical hard stuck ARAM breaks out, and every time this Morg lands a bind on me she's all like, "Zanya's? I hardly know her," and I'm like, "That makes absolutely no sense, you dead bitch," as I use the post-death passive to accomplish absolutely nothing until my front line gets off their phones long enough to distract these wet farts so that I can incorrectly keep my rocket out and right-click like it's the first thing on my resume. This works well as my passive paired with lethal tempo paired with these shitters stacking up to die to me ends in me reaching an attack speed of 3.8. I then organize a little bit of a forbidden rendezvous with the pissy prom queen, get my ambitious elf dick rolled in powdered sugar, but after she dies I feel empty, like I don't want to take that lantern or do anything correctly, and opt into dying a romantic Romeo-Juliet death instead for the sole purpose of that lore and for no other reason related to my skill in this game. But let's keep in mind I'm proving that a literal shit stain can carry on this champ now, so all I have to do is hang out with my pocket rocket, make sure this windshitter doesn't get close enough to show me his Pokemon collection, and a few autos later he will be melted. At this point, due to the snowball principle that I outlined as totally not a problem earlier, I now have a 3-level advantage on my opponent and can simply stand still with auto attack move enabled to win fights against him. Side note, Senna finally found the opportunity to give me a much needed ult. We're now having a small disagreement with the enemy team over if we are allowed entry into the base to pillage their infrastructure and drink wine with their wives, but the asshole specifically wasn't cool with it, so he obviously had to die, and then Morg actually came for the wine, so the conflict of interest there resulted in another kill. I now have 20 kills and you've all bared witness to the absence of any skill in this game, as I can now just right click and turn into a turbo giga fuck you carry while doing absolutely nothing other than point and clicking on enemies, which results in me reaching just stupid levels of over 5.0 attack speed. I've been raised to know that when an ADC gets morgue binded in front of a level 17 assassin, I should expect to die quickly and cry about it on Twitter later, but those days are gone with Season 2 of Arcane in the works and skins to be sold, and with that I hope that my essay on why a dumb shit can now carry with Jinx after these changes is convincing. Rav out.